are the theories. How did reality come here? How'd the sun, moon, stars get here? How'd the trees get here? How'd the bushes get here? How'd you get here? What are you doing thinking that you're you? Number one, the first theory is the universe came from nothing accidentally. Nothing there. It's had to be something there. Well, that's down here in 2 and 3. Do with 2 and 4. If there's something out there, then it has always been there. If it hasn't always been there, there was a time when nothing was there. You can't beat this thing with a stick. This universe either has always been here, or it came from nothing accidentally, or it came from nothing supernaturally, or it ain't here. That's all there is. Now, you know what I've just taught you right now? Absolute truth. Nothing I said was relative to anything. There are only 4 ways that you could be aware of the fact right now that I'm talking to you on some place called the Earth that's in a solar system. There are only 4 ways. Those 4 ways are not taught in one school in the United States. No school in the United States dares teach that one. They don't ever even mention it. That one is called religion. This one is called science. That one is called science. That one is called the funny farm. Or knock yourself out on drugs, or take a trip. That one there puts you in the nut house. If you ever adopt the teaching that the whole thing you see is unreal, you begin to live in unreality. If you think that everything in the universe is the same, there are no polarities, then for goodness sake, don't drive a car. There isn't a Zen Buddhist in Japan that doesn't have to observe the difference between 2 different colored lights. And there's no yin and yang to it. You get killed going through the wrong light. We're talking about reality, not religion. We're talking about reality, not philosophy. We're talking about reality. Reality comes here one of 3 ways. It comes from nothing accidentally. Reality, this, number 1, is a violation of the first law of thermodynamics. Neither matter nor energy can be created or destroyed. Energy can only be transformed or transferred. That's a scientific law that can be demonstrated. Here's a fellow who says, well, you Christians believe in miracles. You can't demonstrate your miracle. You can't demonstrate that either. But you can demonstrate that. And that shows that one there is a lie. First theory is a bummer. It doesn't work. You say, why? It's not scientific. Something scientific can be proved and demonstrated. That can be demonstrated. That can't. Mark it out. That's not a scientific theory. The theories, number 1, false. It's not scientific. Now, let's understand what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about somebody's religious belief. I've been talking about demonstrable laws that can be demonstrated in a laboratory, outside of a laboratory, anytime, anywhere on the face of this earth. If I take a string here and tie a watch to the end of it, or a ball of lead, or a pair of pliers, and keep my hand perfectly stationary and let that thing swing, and then keep my hand perfectly still, it'll quit swinging. That's a demonstration. That's a demonstration. That's a demonstration of a scientific law. Unless you keep putting more energy into it, it'll wear out. We call that entropy. Number 2, theory. The universe has always been here. That's the most common theory among educated people who don't have the sense that God gave a brass monkey. It has always been here. It's eternal. That makes it God. We call that pantheism. Most folks call it universalism. If you were to look at the conversation between UFO naughts, that is aliens from outer space, that have been recorded in 3 books called The Matrixes, allegedly conversation between UFO occupants and American governmental agents in the Groom Lake area out southwest and Area 51 and the Nellis Air Force Range. If you look at a script, a transcript of those conversations, which I have seen, which may or may not be true, every one of those aliens says the universe has always been here. Every one of them is an atheistic materialist, religiously. No supreme God. The supreme God is an electronic force field of electromagnetism that has always been here and accidentally produced these things. Number one, it couldn't come from nothing accidentally, so there had to be something here for it to come from, so it's always been here. Those are 2 scientific theories, and they're just about as scientific as Alice in Disneyland. The universe has always been here. This is a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, which deals with the conservation of energy. With any passage of time, there is always less energy to work with. Entropy means the loss and dissipation of energy, and it characterizes, get it, everything, 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 everything on Earth. It can be proved. You see how? Anywhere, anytime, under any condition. You said, what, for example, you had to eat today. You said, I didn't eat today, then you'll have to eat tomorrow. I'm starving, Dr. Ruckman. I've had nothing to eat for 3 days. Okay, a little bit longer, you won't be able to eat. You say, why? Second law of thermodynamics. Less energy. Entropy. You've got to shovel something in to shovel something out. That's not a religion. All this Baptist preacher in these states trying to teach us and get us into his religion. I'm not even discussing religion. I'm discussing your belly. Don't eat for 3 years and watch what happens to you. You're going to kick the bucket. And long before then, you've got to put it in. And when you put it in, you get less and less till finally you get old and you die. You couldn't have a used car and believe in evolution. Used cars wear out. You couldn't be a cattle breeder or a horse breeder and believe in evolution. Cats, dogs, horses, any animal left to itself to run wild degenerates. If you fellows think this law here is just somebody's religion, just don't show your wife any attention for 5 years and watch what kind of woman she turns out to be. I'll tell you one better than that. Get about 4 or 5 children when they're coming up about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. Don't give them any guidance. Don't give them any care. Don't wash them. Don't feed them. Don't discipline them. And watch them improve. Right? Don't you know, Buster? Second law of thermodynamics shows that theory number 2 is false. The universe has always been here. It couldn't have always been here because it would have worn out at least 150 billion years ago. If it always been here, there'd been entropy going on the whole time and a dissipation of energy the whole time, and the universe today would be just one colorless, gray, heatless mass of non-discriminate, indiscriminate mush. That's a law. It can be proved. Where? Anywhere on this earth. Plants, trees, oceans, magnetic fields, solar heat. The truth of life, brethren, whether you're old enough to accept it or not, or man enough to take it, is everything runs down. Yeshiva, the founder of Aikido, got up into his 80s someplace before they finally buried him. They buried him. You say, why? He wore out. The I and the key and the way and the harmony couldn't preserve him. He died. Book says the wage of sin is death. Or Yeshiva said one time when he was in meditation, he felt like he was turning into gold and became one with the universe. They didn't bury the universe. The universe is still here. They buried him. You say, well, he's one with the universe, then he's going to burn. 2 Peter chapter 3. Heaven and earth going to melt with a fervent heat, and the works therein shall be burned up. Now look at here. Theory number 3. The universe is just an optical illusion. That is optometry. You just see something that isn't there, like a mirage. It doesn't really exist. That is, you go to sleep and dream you're awake, and you wake up and find out that you were asleep and dreaming. People who get to this point here wind up on liquor or drugs or in the nut house, the funny farm. They become boobies in the booby hatch, and all the clowns are not in the circus. That isn't scientific. This is the road to drugs and the insane asylum. Just keep on telling yourself it's not hot when it is. Keep on telling yourself that black and white are the same when they're not. Keep on telling yourself that men and women are the same when they're not. Keep on telling people that yin is yang when it isn't. Keep on telling people that north is south when it's not, and that hell is heaven when it's not, and you wind up in the nut house, the booby hatch, the rubber room, the funny farm. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. 1, that's not scientific. 2, that's not scientific. 3, that's not scientific. What's that one? Folks say religion. No, that's the only one that meets the demands of science. The universe came from nothing supernaturally. That's how this book starts. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. This book then gives the only scientific explanation for creation that you can find. There are no others. There are only 3 of the possibilities, and none of them are scientific according to the laws of science. Is that clear?